Are you a breeder looking to showcase your show pigs? With a Walton Webcasting Show Pig Shoot, we are your go-to video service for capturing the full picture of your show pigs. We specialize in providing top quality video services for breeders like you. Our skilled video team comes directly to your operation. You talk to pigs, we capture the video. Whether it's baby pigs, boars, gilts, or sows, we ensure that their unique features will shine through. With the power of our website and social media, your professionally recorded videos are streamed live, allowing potential customers from all over the country to view and appreciate the quality of your show pigs. We handle the technicalities so you can focus on what you do best, raising exceptional livestock. To schedule your next show pig shoot, call Rhonda at 765-431-7367. Welcome to the ultimate show on the track. Today we celebrate our premier partners, the driving force behind the livestock industry across the nation. Get ready to witness the power of partnership as our premier partners take to the asphalt. Green light and they're off. On the track we have our first partner, Layered Premium Blend Genetics from premiumblendgenetics.com. Next up, it's Beck's Hybrids from beckshybrids.com. And here comes Showright from showright.com. Coming around, we have Brad Howe Ford from bhiford.com. Right behind them, it's Biozyme from biozymeinc.com. And here comes First Farmers Bank and Trust from ffbt.com. And rounding out the racers, it's Kennedy Ventures from kennedyventuresok.com. On the track and in the ring, it's all about collaboration and teamwork. Join us in honoring our premier partners because together they're the driving force of the livestock industry.
Great job, Cody. What a way to kick us off here on a nice, cool, blustery morning here in downtown Oklahoma City at the greatest show. This will be First Call, Class 1, Market Goats.
check, 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 check.
Let's give these exhibitors on the outside of the ring a round of applause as they exit. Well, as we get kicked off here this morning, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our judges for today. Our lead market weather judge is Mr. Chance Neff from Miles, Texas. He manages Neff Livestock with his wife Lacey, and they have 3 daughters, Oakley, Renly, and Hadley. Chance is a graduate of Texas Tech University, and he enjoys judging sheep and goat shows across the country. Our associate weather judge today is Mr. Brent Titus, a club lamb breeder from Alexis, Illinois. Along with his wife Lindsay and son Trace, they own and operate Titus Club Lambs, a flock of 200 club lamb ewes. In addition, his family owns and operates Next Gen Sales, a platform for marketing elite livestock across the country. If you would, join with me. They've got 15 classes and 5 divisions to sort through as they get started here this morning. Join with me in giving them a great big warm Oklahoma welcome.
can't even begin to describe the excitement I have for today. And I remember coming to the Oklahoma Youth Expo the first time, and honestly, kids fresh off a judging team, and thinking, man, what a dream it would be to get out there and sort in one of those rings. And I've been very fortunate to get to come here a few times, and this time, first time on the market side, and I'm absolutely jacked. The guy beside me hired me to do my second state fair I ever judged, and somebody I have complete confidence in and complete trust in, and not only as a stockman, but as one of my best friends, and to have him out here today is going to be an absolute pleasure, and you'll get to hear from both of us. I think that we're pretty like-minded individuals that see stock very similar. Maybe there's a few priorities here and there that we're going to switch, but I think it's going to be a really, really fun day. We start off with a really nice class, but with that being said, I think we have one that comes to the forefront quite easily. We can talk about this one all day in terms of how stout he is, how busted open he is, and how round and robust he is, but where he truly wins this class is he is the one that takes the ring the organized in his build, the highest about his head carriage, the one that can get out and operate the most ideally about his hip and hind leg. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that one's perfect. From a growth standpoint, that one is a bona fide lightweight for the rest of his life, but that one is powerful, that one is sound, and he has all the aesthetics that I'm after. The one that comes next in 2, I'll be honest, that's the second best moving one we have out here. That one's head comes up high. I like the way his hip and hind leg operates. Honestly, we get out here and just get comparative. That one just a little plainer to look at. He's a little flatter about the base of his body, not quite as pried apart in terms of his pin bone, but that one's awfully neat. Not a big hole in that one. I hate to use this word complete, but that's where that one hits me. The one that comes in 3rd, maybe a hair more electric from the side. Maybe his chest sits up in him a little bit higher. He's real crisp to the touch. For me, he wants to struggle a little bit up front on the go. Maybe he's not quite as stout out of his upper hip as the one that comes in 2, but a nice goat there in 3 that gives us a really elite look from the side. And that look is what propels him over the one in 4th. I think his shoulder lays a little neater on his body than the one that comes in 4. He's a little rounder about his shoulder, a little shorter and coarser about his neck, a little coarser about his head. But that's one that's really big in his center. I like this one's hip and hind leg angle. My biggest issue on this guy is the front 1/3 of his skeleton. And then we get in the front of him. I think that guy wants to get a little splate and a little straight and a little splayed out up front. But a really nice one there in 4. The one that comes in 5 for another guy or another pair of guys, they could really get on this one, because that one is just chock full of meat and muscle. That one's big underneath. He's big caged. He's big rumped and hipped. Just one that for me and Brent's just too coarse off both ends of his skeleton. Maybe not quite as attractive in his hind leg posture, but a nice one in 5. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have one in 6. It paints a beautiful picture that just needs more upper hip and more cage and just more power to go any higher. The one in 7 paints big, or pets big, if you will. He's really big shaped. He's big and fresh loin. He's stout down low. We just got to redesign the front 1/3 of this guy's skeleton, let him get out and be more athletic about his motion. The next one that comes here in 8th, good looking one. Love this thing's chest floor. Love this thing's shape in terms of his loin and how big he is out of his stifle. Just wondered for me, when we got this thing on the go, I told the young lady that one just gets too off behind his shoulder, a little hard there in his heart, but a nice one there to be in that 8, I guess. Come down to 9, powerful goat, stout and got some body and rib, just too plain from the side. The one that comes next, real shapely, just too straight up front and can't just get out and operate the way we want. But man, that one pets awfully big. One that comes next here, an ultra prospecty looking one out here. I'm sure that thing's really young. I like this guy's general build and look. That guy just needs more muscle to be quite elementary about our discussion. He needs more width and just maturity to go any higher. And the one that rounds out our sets when we pulled on the go, and I like this guy in motion. He's flexible, he's stout, he can go. He just gets too off behind his shoulder, gets too round out of his shoulder as well. But a nice goat to round out our set. Really good class all the way through. Let's go ahead and welcome these kids this morning with a great round of applause.
Your results. Out of class number 1, first place to Catherine McLean from Leedy. Second, Whitney Reese from Bakoshi FFA. Third place to Hunter Van Cleve, Dewey. Fourth place to Hannah Brake from Salisaw. In 5th, Clara Stafford, Altus. Sixth place to Emily Reed from Blanchard. Seventh place to Jessica Sneed, Strother. Eighth, Jesselyn Jones, Newcastle, FFA. Ninth place to Briley Hall, Buffalo Valley. And 10th place to Libby Gartrell, Woodward, FFA. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now showing our second class of the first division. Now showing class number 2. applause as they exit. OYE merchandise. Get your hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. You can head on down to the Grand Drive Collective, located on the east end of Barn 3, for all your OYE gear. Also, you can stay connected and download the official OYE app. Watch the shows live, get the latest information on class breaks, know the status of each ring, and so much more. Available today on the App Store and on Google Play.
obviously a bit more discussion here as we evaluate what we thought was just a tremendously deep set of goats in class number 2. And I can't help but reiterate Chance's words. I'm so excited to be here. I think it's been 15 years since I had the opportunity to judge at OYE, and to stand here with one of my best friends on the planet and one of the people I respect the most in terms of evaluating and breeding livestock, it makes for an exciting day. Throw in the quality of the goats that we get to evaluate, and it really puts it up over the top. This class is deep and it's stout, and if it gives us any indication of what is yet to come, it's going to be an exciting day here on the chips. We think the top pair is extremely close, and we talk about them, we see them exactly the same, we read them identical, and we see their advantages and disadvantages in the same spot. I guess the more that we get down and come to it, we're both sticklers about height of shoulder, about tightness at the top of the blade, about the way one's neck comes out of the top side of his shoulder, and our class winner, we think, has the advantage there. He does that and still is the best handling one, the biggest muscle one, the hardest touching one of the group. Now, I'll be the first to admit, his forerib's not quite as unique as the one that we've got in second. He's not quite as bold and opened up in terms of the center dimension of his body. His midrib is not quite as good, and we like those things about the one in second better than our class winner. Our big hang up on him is his neck and the way it ties into his shoulder and the way that he really labors in terms of pulling down and dropping his chest on the move. Just maybe don't see that one as quite unique enough through his breastplate and up through the front third of his body. He is a powerhouse with an incredible forerib and a great center body sweep. We like that one a great deal to be second. The goat in third is absolutely striking from the side, and he is one that hits you as hard as any we've seen to this point when we get 20 feet off of him. Our issue for both of us when we get in on top of him and we handle him, that goat's too shapeless, that goat's too fat, that goat just has too much condition on him to compete with the top pair. A really unique one in fourth that's bold-ribbed and big-muscled, hits us extremely hard when he hits the end gate. The longer we evaluate this guy, he's too round about his hip, he hyperextends and wants to get too straight in his hock, and because of that, he's too long and deep on his rear pasterns, and he just does not want to function off his rear too well enough. Beautiful looking one in fifth. He's tall front, slinky neck. Love the way that thing's head carriage sits right on top of his shoulder. Maybe just not bulky and punchy enough in relation. Totally opposite deal here. This one's got all the muscle in the world. Headed one, he maybe just doesn't balance as well for us. The red-necked one in its next looks really, really good when he's moving. Get that one gathered up. He gets off behind his shoulder and off at his hip. The one here, I know Chance talked to this young lady, really, really attractive one that paints a good picture, needs to be more muscular. Tall fronted one back here that needs to be changed in his hock. The red goat is one that is extremely round in his body, really good in his cage, needs to be bigger footed and bigger toed. Our next one here just needs more punch and mass all the way through. The next goat's a little bit heavier condition, real good looking, smooth balanced one, just needs to be trimmer. Next goat's got a great big forearm, a tall front end, a little harder bodied, a little drier in terms of his midrib. Flatter ribbed one that comes next and needs more body shape. And then we end with one that we love on the touch. He's presented extremely well, gets too straight and upright off both ends of his skeleton. Give these kids a big round of applause. A tremendous class here in class 2.
Your results of the class number 2. First place to Ridge Rose, Sapulpa. Second to Laney Allen, Canute. Third place to Janelle Huff, Moss. Fourth, KJ Anthony, Asher. Fifth place to Paisley Bashir, Worcester. In sixth, Diesel Cook from Moss. Seventh, Garrett Schoonover, Mulhall, Orlando 4-H. Eighth place, Sierra Wood, Moss. In ninth, Madison Brindley, Hartshorn, FFA. And in 10th place to Faith Brock from Newcastle. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now showing our third and final class of the first division. Let's give these exhibitors on the outside of the ring a round of applause as they exit.
another really fun class. I think there's quality throughout. The young lady down there at that end, heck of a showman, nice goat, just overdone. And I think there's just lots of neat pieces throughout here. The one that wins though, that thing comes to the forefront when he first hits the ring, and he never gets beat. It's easy to to win when they lead in every category. That one's the stoutest. He's the biggest chested. He's the best ribbed. He's the best backed. He pets the best. He's the biggest hipped. And most importantly, when we get on the go, that's the one that takes to the ring with the most athletic stride and remains the most organized in his build. Now, is he absolutely ideal? I wouldn't say that his underline is extremely unique, but it's ultra proportional. That one's going to be a lot of fun to see out here in our division drive here in a minute. I guess we had some discussion here in 2 and 3, and they differ somewhat in areas. I think they're both goats that are striking from the side, maybe in different areas. They're both goats that are stout. They're both goats that are sound. I thought the aesthetics went to the 1 and 2, especially the way our neck comes off the top side of our shoulder, how his blade lays on his body, and just how he's built up front. And then when we get our hands on him, I just think he's the fresher touching option. Now, is he perfect? No, I think he's a little short constructed out of his rump. He's a little narrower about his hip shape than the 1 and 3. And that's where we give the muscle advantage, is the one that comes in 3. That one's big shapely up high. He's big hipped. He's big rumped. I guess for me, where I get on this guy, I read him to be a little longer bladed, a little off there behind his shoulder, and I like him to hook up a little better right there in terms of his hip loin, but a nice one there that comes in 3. Our structure issues come here in 4 and 5, and this becomes a pair. The one that's in 4 handles out of this world. I think he's big forearmed, he's giant backed, he's incredibly round and out of the top side of his forerib, he's ultra shapely up high and big pinned. That thing's got to be looser going for me. He's a little short about his step out here, gets a little vertical about all of his angles, but man, one that's a market animal, that's ultra terminal about his shape, that's the one that we have in 4. The one that comes in 5, that thing is shapely, he is big up high, and he is big rumped. For me, that one's just too round off both ends, and when we see him go, he wants to push out at his ankle, wants to bow his haka hair, but a nice one in 5. One that comes next in 6, fresh handling goat. Young lady does a nice job getting that one shown. A little chubby, a little steep out of his hip. The one that comes next is probably the biggest backed lightweight goat I've ever handled. That thing's stout down low, just too coarse, too round off both ends of his skeleton, but a nice one there. One that comes next runs uphill, shallow, good neck. I like all those things about that one. I need to improve his hip loin junction, and I need to give that thing a little touch more forerib to go any higher. The one that comes next is huge muscled, really bubbly, just too short constructed out of his hip for me, too round out of his shoulder on the go. The one that comes next, the young man we didn't pull, he was the first one pulled when we had him on rear view. That thing is good bodied, he's bold in his cage, he's fresh to the touch. Just when we get him on the go, wants to get it out of his elbow and knee and just get a little piecey on the go. He wants to get up underneath himself. One that comes next, young man here in the 4-H sweater, ultra shapely, really hard to the touch, lean, like all those things about that one, just too hard, too round loin. Young lady next here, that one is stout. He's got a big back in him. He's just too round out of his hip and too round out of his shoulder. And we touched on the young lady down here that's a great showman. That one's neat shouldered, fresh to the touch. Just one that for me is too chubby out here, too steep out of his hip, a little more general about his look from the side. A heck of a class, a really nice class winner. Let's put our hands together and congratulate him on a job well done.
Your results out of class number 3. First place to Caitlin Morgan from Newcastle. Second, J.C. Folk from Moreland FFA. Third place to Lucy Bullis, Garfield County. Fourth to Tinley Pearson, El Reno FFA. Fifth place to Lincoln Stafford, Altus. Sixth, also Lincoln Stafford. Seventh place to Jackson Thompson, Asher. In 8th, Emery Lee, Elgin FFA. 9th, J.C. Folk, Moreland. And in 10th place to Cooper Maxwell from Mays County. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We'll now be showing for our Division I championship. Our frontline lineup here for Division 1, representing Class number 1, will be Catherine McLean from Leedy. First out of Class 2, Ridge Rose, Sapulpa. And our class winner out of Class number 3, Caitlin Morgan from Newcastle. Second out of Class 1, Whitney Reese, Bakoshi. Second, Class 2 was Laney Allen, Canute. And second out of Class 3 was J.C. Folk from Moreland. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now showing our Division 1 championship.
So I'll be honest. Most times I don't talk class winners within division because I feel like maybe it gets a little lengthy. But hey, we're here at the big stage today, and I want everybody to know kind of where my head's at, and Brent the same way, I'm sure. And I think if we take a little more time today, that's because we're here to show goats and here to show stock all over this fairground. So we're going to talk about them. The one that wins Class 1 is Paint Deal. That thing hits the ring, and he just hits you. He's ultra comfortable in his skeleton. He's stout. He's bold-bodied. He's powerful. Really nice goat. Now, maybe he's a little rounder out of his hip compared to the two that follow him and the one on the other side of him, but that is an awfully powerful, dense skeleton, ultrasound one that I like a great deal. We talked about Class 2, this thing being really close, and the one that we used to win that class was the one that had the advantage in terms of his front end assembly, in terms of one that's not only wider skeleton, but we thought his shoulder laid on his body a nickel better. We thought his neck came off the top side of his blade a little better. And then that thing is just incredible in terms of the way he pets. That thing is ultra powerful. He moves around good. Really nice goat there to win that class. One that was in second in that class. Love that thing's cage. Love his hip and hind leg assembly. He pets ultra big. Maybe one that comparatively is a little chubbier, a little shorter and coarser about his neck. But that's high quality stock there that we liked a great deal. Then the one that comes out of our last class. We talked about how we could describe him all day, and it's easy to use one to win when they're the widest, they're the soundest, they're the biggest muscle, and they're the best looking. And he was that in that class, and he was unrivaled in there. And I'll be honest, when we come back out here for the drive, I still think he's unrivaled. He'll be our champion lightweight.
Your champion, Division 1, comes out of Class number 3. Congratulations to Caitlin Morgan from Newcastle.
Comes down to reserve. I think it's pretty cut and dry as well. I think there's one that comes to the up here and it fits in that second hole quite easily. I think he's a goat that looks a lot like our champion. Maybe not quite as unique in terms of his body shape. Maybe not quite as busted open comparatively, but one that's awfully good. We'll go ahead and get this cell lineup, but we'll select your reserve of this division, and then we'll start to roll through this cell lineup. Congratulations to all of our lightweight exhibitors. Let's put our hands together for them one last time. Heck of a job.
And your reserve champion comes out of Class number 2. Congratulations to Ridge Rose from Sapulpa. We need a 6th place out of Class 2. Need our 6th place, Class 2. Diesel Cook. Need Diesel Cook in the ring, Class 2. Do we have our 6th place out of Class 3? 6th place, Class 3. 6th place, Class 2. give these exhibitors on the outside of the ring a round of applause as they exit.
I think we start this next division and just an absolute hammer of a way to lead it off with this Cape Goat, and one that Chance and I are both just enamored with when he hits the ring. So much presence and look to be that tall fronted, to come with that extra shot of forearm. And then I'm telling you, you get in front of this guy, he's big and bold in his forerib, he's opened up in his chest, he's proportional in the way that he's put together, he's balanced from the side profile. He's a goat that brings a tremendous amount of quality. We both land on him very quickly to be the class winner. We're both in total agreement that he's a unique piece of livestock to start Division II. Congratulations to that young lady. A wild built one in second. And I think that my counterpart probably said it best when we were discussing these top four. This one is very hard to make. To make one that elevated, that shallow, that good-bodied, that touches and handles with that kind of tone and shape, you just don't come across those every day. Now, on either side of him are goats with just a shot more lower stifle, a bit more shape. It probably is what gets him beat here today. He's just not quite punchy enough when we get right in behind him. But young lady, that is a wild-looking critter that is fit to a T, that's in the right kind of tone and shape, has been brought here today to be very competitive at OYE. Like that one a great deal. Big muscles. And the one that's in third, just as bulky and as crisp and wide as you can make one. I use the word, maybe he's not quite as coordinated anywhere in his skeleton. He doesn't get out and go with quite as good of a running gear. Maybe that one just isn't quite as flexible off either end as we move him, and that probably gets him done here today in this position. A really massive one in fourth. The young lady does just a great job putting that one together. He gets a little deeper in his breastplate and a little plainer in his forerib, handles a little squishier with just a little more condition on him. Got to tone that one up, got to lean him up there to move him up. This one moved up a long way from the first time we found him, and if his feet were bigger, you could talk about moving him up even further. That goat's in great tone, great shape, very high cutability animal, big muscled, tall fronted, good necked. His feet just aren't big enough, and he just needs more bone. Maybe more fuzz does it, but I think fundamentally it starts that his toes just aren't quite big enough. A really good, wild looking one here. I heard Chance tell the young lady that's a crazy looking animal. Set to his hind leg when we get right in there. That gets him pulled. Huge muscles here. One that's too straight off of his rear too. Needs to go better. Like this one's look and out there kind of silhouette just isn't opened up enough in relation to the ones on either side of him. Really big muscled goat here that's big footed. Gets a little too straight behind. Like this one in terms of his balance and the way that one blends from the side. Not muscular enough. Needs just more shape and turn. There's a big muscled one that just comes a little coarse, a little more off at his hip. Great big shape in this guy, too straight in his rear hock. This one here needs more tone right out of the back of his shoulder. Good built one that's not quite wide enough. And our last one here that we pulled, really like that one's presence, that one's foot size, and that one's extra big feet. He just doesn't maybe have the stifle turn and shape of some of the others. Let's give these kids a big round of applause. A great way to start Division II.
Your results out of class number 4. First place to Addison Thompson from Noble FFA. Second, Avery White, Fort Gibson. Third place to Wyatt Hall, Verdon. In fourth was Presley Lewis, Broken Bow. Fifth place to Emma Irwin, Hartshorn. In sixth, Reagan Werner, Hooker FFA. Seventh to Diesel Cook, Moss 4-H. Eighth place to Joey Cochran, Caddo FFA. In ninth, Hayden Oswald, Binger Oni. And in 10th place to Thomas Bass from Manford. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now showing class number 5. give these exhibitors on the outside of the ring a round of applause as they exit.
Well, the goat show is going to be fun today, and I was pumped up on our last class winner, and this one, the same striking resemblance from the outside in terms of arrogance, in terms of just looking elite and being built extremely, extremely well in terms of his skeleton. One whose neck shoots right off the top side of his blade. His blade angle is short, his blade is flat, his shoulder is flat, his chest is tucked up. He has all the ESTs, and then when you get on top of this thing, he handles out of this world. He's fresh, he's firm, he draws back to a beautiful hip and hind leg assembly. Dig that thing's underline. You know, if you're going to get on him, maybe his skeleton is so good that he gets just a tick loose at times in his top line on the go. But hey, I'll be honest, I'd rather him be loose than tight. I dig that one a lot. I guess between second and third, it gets a little bit closer just because they differ a little bit in terms of type and kind. The one that comes in two, as an individual, that one's big chested, he's big armed. I love the way his shoulder and neck sit on him. His neck comes right off the top side of his blade. His chest is tucked up in him. He's got a 50-gallon drum for a cage, and that thing pets ultra, ultra big up high. Love the shape to that guy's stifle. Maybe one that's actually a touch bunchier in terms of his muscle in his rump compared to the one that wins. But when we get off here and we start to study balance and just true aesthetic, that one just reads a touch shorter and steeper out of his hip, and he needs to blend a little bit better in the front side of his hip. After that, that one's ultra, ultra good. Now, if we start him at the surface, 3 takes the advantage. That one's big-toed, he's big-legged, he's big-armed, he's opened up, he's ultra powerful, a really dense animal that can get out and go. The issue for me is he's maybe not quite as athletic in terms of his shape and the way he's built up front. I think he reads it, not that he's nondescript, but he's not as just ripped up and toned as the 1 and 2. I think his skin's a little bit looser. Maybe his neck doesn't come quite as high at the top side of his shoulder. Then I think comparatively his shoulder's built just a little bit rounder in him. But a really nice, powerful one sitting there in 3. One that comes in 4 worked himself up. I love this thing's underline. I love that one's tone and texture, how big hip that one is. That one's neck comes off really neat off the top side of his shoulder. For me, that one just reads a touch piecey out here, especially when I get him on the go. I think we see a little more blade action in that one. Maybe our hip loin isn't quite as smooth as ones that precede him, but a really nice 1 and 4. The 1 and 5, if you just want to talk about ones that are opened up, big caged, big pinned, pet big, there he is. That one is powerful. He is ultra massive everywhere you look on his skeleton. Just one that for me, to be fairly short and elementary about our discussion, he just bucked over. Went in to lay his shoulder and knee back in him, let him take a more comfortable step up front. But man, that thing is powerful. Now on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the young lady in 6. Wild, wild looking, shown at an expert level. I mean, she can get a lot of show out of this. That thing is really, really nifty from the side. But again, we're going to be fairly black and white about our discussion here. That guy needs more muscle. He needs more stoutness. He needs more width and more cage, but a nice 1 and 6. The one that comes next in 7, hit the pin, and we pulled that one because he's high-headed and flexible, and I like those things about him. But we get him out here, and I think that one just gets pretty general about his look from the side. He's a little deeper. He's a little flatter at the base of his body, a little longer about his shoulder. Pet's big, moves good. Just one that for me needs to be a little more tricked out in front in terms of his rib cage, his body quality, and his front end assembly. But a nice one there coming next. The next one we have here in the white, young man in the white, big back, good looking, that's a little steep hipped. Next one here is ultra stout. We need to lean that one up. He's kind of like me, likes to sneak in there at night, maybe sneak an extra cookie or 2. That guy's just a little chubby and not quite as ripped up, but one that we like in terms of his stoutness and his movement. Then when it comes next, I like the way that one runs uphill. I like his shape, just too steep out of his hip when we get him on the go, gets underneath himself. The one that comes next, fresh backed one, it's a little flat and a little deep. That next one is really stout, just 2 round. Then the young lady right here, another one that's ultra stout at the surface, just 2 off behind his blade, a little steep about his hip. And then the one that rounds out our set, one that pets good in terms of freshness. But with that, I think we go ahead and start to sacrifice some shape. That one needs to be toned up and leaned up. I'd like to go ahead and just fix his hind leg assembly as well. But a good set throughout. Congratulations to you all. Heck of a class winner. These kids deserve a great round of applause because a heck of a class and they worked their tail off.
Your results out of class number 5. First place to Baylor Pearson, El Reno. Second to Kelsey Heisler from Wacomas 4-H. Third place to Hudson Boren, Leedy. Fourth, Dakota Thurman from Snyder. Fifth place to Aaliyah Horton from Allen.
What class are they on?
Sixth to J.C. Wilson, Stigler. Seventh place to Josie White, Fort Gibson. In eighth, Reagan Greathouse, Fort Gibson. Ninth place to Olivia Garcia, Granfield FFA. And 10th place to Hayden Oswald from Binger Oni. Congratulations to those exhibitors. We're now showing our third and final class of Division II, class number 6.